Hey everyone, welcome back to the One Piece versus 4K podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Rom.
And we are here to compare the One Piece 4Kids anime to the Funimation dub, sometimes sub, and throw in comparisons to the manga. We are back today. From my end, it's episode 24. I'll get into the awesome title of my episode a little bit later. But before that, what's been going on with you, Rom?
So actually, this past week, I've been trying to I've been watching, and I've been so obsessed with I kind of said last week. I don't remember if I said last week that I've been so obsessed with Attack on Titan that I eventually had to kind of move away from anime shows. So I watched a lot of How I Met Your Mother, and then what I realized that it's just it was so it reminded me of this one other thing where the thing with How I Met Your Mother is that during each episode he always gives a message or something, some sort of I don't know how to properly describe. It's some um life advice given in I don't know, a life advisey way. It's kind of hard to describe how he does it, and it's he sends these messages that just hits you in the heart. And you're like, yeah, and so I just started watching, and then next thing I knew, I was just watching episode. It was just one of those things where it was just episode after episode after episode, just kept going. And the last time I actually did this with How I Met Your Mother was when I first watched the show and caught up on it, back when I was in college. So this was a long time ago, at least
Did you
10
ever
years
finish
ago.
it?
How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
I mean, no, not this time around. I mean, I watched the whole show already back when
Oh
it
yeah,
was
that's
running.
what I was asking. So
Yeah,
you're
back when
just
it was
rewatching
running.
now.
Yeah, basically. I think back when it was running, it was up to season 7 was done, and season 8 and season 9 were about to come out. And so I watched season 8 and season 9 live.
Yeah.
But for this, for right now, I'm somewhere in the middle of season 3 after 1 week.
Oh wow.
Dude, I think it's How I Met Your Mother and especially One Piece have kind of really trained me on binge watching shows because when I was catching up on One Piece, the anime, so the dub was only up to I think somewhere between the 200s and 300s. It was in I think Eni's Lobby. It was Eni's Lobby might have just concluded, and they were back in Water 7 or something like that, and that's where the dub finished. Then I picked up on the sub, and then I quickly like went all the way through the next few arcs, and then when I caught up, they were somewhere in Dressrosa. So this was around the 600s when I got caught up, and yeah, as soon as I got caught up with the Dressrosa stuff, I started to kind of read the manga, but not really. And then eventually, I think it was around this time when I met you at work, and then you kind of got me hooked onto DC TV shows. So I put a pause on One Piece and I watched DC TV shows and got hooked on that. So it was this huge thing. But One Piece, and I feel like this show too has kind of really kind of trained me on binge watching shows, and it's not that hard for me to go through 24 episodes or something. But it's
So
not
are
to
you
say that.
watching the sub or dub of How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, I'm just watching how it was originally filmed with no subtitles.
Oh, gotcha.
I was just I'm just gonna immerse myself into American culture, and
I thought you were
if I
gonna watch
understand,
the. Is there a dub in Tamil?
I, I think there probably is a dub in Hindi. I don't know if there's one in Tamil, but I feel like there is a dub in Hindi. Have I ever told you about Small Wonder?
I think you have, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's just the weirdest thing. Whenever this was a long time ago, well over 10 years ago. Each time I would go to India, so I think they dubbed Small Wonder completely in Tamil, and that was my first exposure to Small Wonder. Was everything was in Tamil, and they updated some of the dialogue for more updated songs and stuff. One of the songs that they sang that they dub sang when the wife was singing, this movie came out like 15, 20 years after the show ended. Um, Small Wonder, it was like a late 80s show from what I remember. So maybe sometime in the future they do dub it in Tamil. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if
or they just do a Indian adaptation of it.
nah. There is like way too much sex for them
They
to
can
do
change
any.
it, man. They can, make it, I don't know what they could do instead. Eat popcorn.
No, I mean like there is like way too much. I mean they would be eating a lot of popcorn that there would be a diabetes epidemic or something. I'm not sure. So like Small Wonder's only 96 episodes in its entirety. So I think that's why like they were able to, and plus it's like a very family friendly show. How I Met Your
Yeah.
Mother, like it's I mean, I don't know how much family friendly I would say because like one of the characters is always like sleeping with a new girl every single night. Like that was his thing, is that he goes to the bar and then he always takes a new girl home. And like yeah, I highly doubt that such a show would ever exist in would ever get like an Indian adaptation. Maybe in Bollywood, maybe. Like I don't watch too many Bollywood films nowadays, but I keep hearing that they're starting to include sex in more Bollywood stuff. I'm not really sure, so maybe, but I highly doubt it because it's like there's like way like they don't show actual sex. Like it's just like they go to a room and then you see like they're like you see that like they're not wearing any clothes or their elbows. You see their elbows and like their upper thing like exposed. And them just rolling around in bed. Like it's not like
Oh, I thought you just saw, like the light turn off and then you like see like the sun like go up and then down.
yeah. I mean like yeah, there it's like you see several intentions of okay they hooked up basically like over and over and over. Especially with one of the characters Barney, played by Neil Patrick Harris. um, so it's like yeah I highly doubt that would actually get an Indian adaptation. But it's not to say that I didn't watch any anime this week because I did. And I think I kind of like pushed through in one of the things that I watched. So and part of the reason I watched it was like there's this guy on YouTube named Paolo from like his channel name is Paolo from Tokyo. He's like his name is Paolo.
Yeah,
Um,
I know who that guy is. I'm not gonna make fun. Okay, I guess I am gonna make fun of him, but only because his enthusiasm like pisses me off.
dude, like so you're not alone in this because like it, it pisses people off. It's just like so he does like these day in the life of videos
Yeah,
and and like I think people could engage like what kind of audience he kind of wants like because one of the things he like does this kind of like very childish thing or something and like I remember reading one of the comments where a person was like sometimes I forget what who Paolo's target audience is just because of how much like certain childish or extremely like enthusiastic thing that he does. And it's kind of hard to gauge like what audience does he think is going to watch this. um it was
I
yeah,
mean,
no, it's
like
hilarious.
that's like I don't. Yeah, I don't view it in that way. It's just like I've watched mainly like his like tour stuff. Like this is like the best places to go in Japan or whatever, and just like the way he talks, he's so enthusiastic about everything. It's just like I- when people are like that, I don't know. I don't know if I should, if they're genuine or not.
Yeah, if they're authentic. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. I think they kind of have to. I mean, if they want, if they do it like in like a very moody way or even a regular way, people might just may not seem as interested. So I mean, there is that to it too. I really liked like a lot of his day in the life of series. So yeah, I mean, like it's just something I think like, and it's not just him. I think like his like he's an American. Like I think he was born um overseas. Like I think he was born in the Philippines.
Yeah, that's what I
But
was gonna
like
say.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he
but he was
learned to speak English there.
Yeah, but like he grew up primarily here in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
So I think like with his accent and like the way he grew up, I think he has to kind of give that kind of like extra thing. Whereas like Chris Broad, he's like a British dude, and so he has like his British mannerisms when he does his like travel, not travel vlogs, but like his is very much like a presentation, like a TV presentation kind of thing, where like people go around touring. So um and he did kind of mention that like he did like a an episode on Trash Taste, and I think one of the guys, they I think he and those guys, they kind of mentioned how like he's definitely, he brings out his Britishness, I guess, more in when he records the videos for his channel, rather than how he is in real life. Apparently in real life he's like not so like British, I guess.
Oh,
It's kind of weird to say, but yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean,
I think
people
that,
put on like in their videos they put on a persona a little bit. They're not
yeah.
exactly like themselves. It's too boring to be exactly like yourself, anyways.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, like so, like one of my favorite series in his channel was like A Day in the Life, and I watched A Day in the Life of a Mangaka one, and when I heard, so I watched that video, and then when he said the name of the mangaka, I ended up, I just kind of heard it in passing. I didn't really give too much attention to it, but as I was listening to one of the older episodes of Trash Taste, I hear that manga was actually adapted into an anime, and the manga is called Rent a Girlfriend, and so I watched it, and man, it was like one of those things I think I had to push myself through, because like it's very much kind of like a teen drama ish kind of thing, I guess. Like
Yeah. That's
it's one of
how
the,
that's how that's kind of how that bunny girl senpai is that I
oh,
have
Baki
watched.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely like a harem anime where it's like one guy, many girls and stuff, and it is trending towards that direction anyways, if it's not already there. And yeah, I mean, like the first few episodes, because like the concept of Rent a Girlfriend is that, like Rent a Girlfriend is like an actual service that they do in certain Asian countries. China, South Korea, and Japan are the three that I can think of off the top of my head. And and I guess like Rent a Girlfriend is like very prevalent in Japan, just because of their work culture and stuff, and just to have like certain feelings or whatever. So yeah, they made the manga based on that concept, and like the first few episodes, it was like, even though she gave some emotions as the girlfriend, like the kind of premise basically, like this guy just rents he I think he had a girlfriend for a month, and then at the end of the month or something, or like around that 1 month range, she dumps him, saying that she loves someone else, and then out of sheer frustration, he goes into one of these rent a girlfriend service apps, and he sees this one girl, and he rents out her on a date or something, and then first date goes fine, but then he sees the reviews of like previous people who had her, and he was like, oh, this whole thing is a whole act. So he gave her a bad review. They go on another date, but during that date, he just like he's very kind of like a dick. He's like a jerk. In that date, like when they were at the aquarium, he starts to just talk about how he starts to yell about how this is all fake and all this. And so she pulls him aside, and then she shows her real thing where like she just starts yelling at him, and she was like, this is you know that this was a service, and this was all how it is when you signed the contract. And then right as they were going into that argument, he gets a phone call saying his basically giving the plot for the first episode of that show. Basically, he gets a phone call saying that his grandma was like sick or something. They run to the hospital, and she follows him. She, rather than like stop, she follows him there, and his grandma was there, and she was super excited that this girl was his girlfriend. And then what was kind of funny in a very sickish way, her grandma was also at that hospital as well, and then both of their grandmas think that, oh, they're dating together or something, and then eventually like both of them decide to just kind of break it off or something. And then that next day when he goes off to college, like he's like a university student, and it's his first year. He goes off to college, and then he runs into her at the university. But she's like in like a disguise, a very Clark like when she's like a rental girlfriend, she doesn't wear glasses and stuff. But when she's like a college student, she wears like glasses and like long clothes and stuff, just to kind of like I guess a disguise. I don't know. And and then they decide that they wouldn't interact with each other in college. But then, funny enough, guess what? They're neighbors. And yeah, so that's how that show went. And like first few episodes, she kept referring back to her as just being a rental and it's all an act and stuff. And that kind of like I don't know. After like I think the third episode, I then started to kind of watch more of it. And then I finished it the first season. And it was just funny that like I only watched this show only because I saw that episode of
Yeah,
Day in the Life of. And
that's
I
funny.
yeah, but it's definitely one of those like harem animes where it's like one guy and a bunch of girls and stuff. Um, so that's fine. But I think the one that I kind of like that I'm watching at like a relatively good pace, which kind of surprises me, is Assassination Classroom.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's like a very funny anime. Like, do you know what Assassination Classroom is about?
I mean, I saw the trailer 50 million times when I was trying to watch Bunny Girl Senpai.
Oh, okay. It's basically the premise is like there's this being which apparently from Earth. It destroyed the moon, and the moon's like in like a crescent shape because it destroyed like I don't know 70% of it, and so it's like in a crescent shape, and then that creature person, he comes to Earth and says he in 1 year he's going to destroy the Earth, but during that year he's going to go be a teacher at this classroom, and so the government like gets all the kids to try to assassinate him, and he also helps the student in trying to assassinate him too, and there's like a lot of hijinks about him, like he also does his teaching duties and stuff, so it's like a very comical but like fun anime. But yeah, it's very fun. It's very
So it sounds like you've totally failed at stopping watching anime, cutting
well,
back.
not necessarily.
You,
Yeah, not necessarily. Like I mean, besides Rent a Girlfriend, like it's actually been
besides
more
Rent a
than a week.
Girlfriend, Assassination Classroom,
No. So it's been well over a week since I last watched Assassination Classroom. This was just something I've been watching for like a while. Not like a while, but like I've been watching like from time to time. But Rent a Girlfriend, yeah, that is something that like I kind of failed at, but um, it's fine. Um, but I'm not watching anything right now. I'm like back into the How I Met Your Mother grind.
yeah.
But yeah, how's everything going with you?
Uh, Pretty good. I This past weekend we went to a cabin for my wife's birthday, so we had a good time. Watched a bunch of movies. I just want to say that I really enjoyed the new Wonder Woman movie. People were like shitting on that movie a whole bunch, and I was not like I was really not wanting to watch it. I was like, all right, I want to watch it, but this is gonna be like not a good movie at all. Everyone was shitting on it. And I had no problems with it at all. I thought it was a great movie, like fantastic movie. So I don't get
Mm,
what anyone's saying. So screw you guys.
yeah.
I guarantee you it's gonna be better than the 4 hour Snyder cut that I'm gonna force myself to watch.
So yeah, what is this Snyder cut, by the way? Like, is it just like so?
Did
We
you
already
ever watch?
had
Did you watch the Justice League movie?
the one where they fight. What's his name? Yeah. I definitely did watch the Justice League movie. I
Yeah.
forget
So
who
it's
they
the
fight,
same
but yeah,
thing, but
80 or
it's the Snyder cut.
something. Okay, so I guess it's like an extended version of it. I
So
guess.
he was working on the movie, but then he had to leave the movie because his I think his daughter died or something.
I thought it was like he had like creative differences or something.
No, he had to leave. Well, I think he had creative differences, but then his daughter ended up dying in real life or something. I don't know. Uh, Maybe I'm getting that confused with David Ayer. I don't know. I get both of those guys confused. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, he was off the movie, um, and they gave it to what's his name, who is apparently a total piece of shit.
Joss Whedon.
Yeah, they gave it to him, and and then he just kept, the movie came out, and Justice League came out, and it, got abysmal reviews. I saw it eventually. I like finally saw it. I was like, yeah, this is just really not a good movie. And then, that's when okay, now I don't even remember his name. What's his first name? Zack Snyder. That's when Zack Snyder started saying, "Oh, my cut was better." And then he started this whole trending thing on Twitter where people started saying, "Oh, we must release the Snyder cut." And it almost became like a meme in itself. Um just, "Oh, we need the Snyder cut." And eventually, for whatever reason, HBO Go decided that they would pay for the Snyder cut to actually be released. But what makes no sense is it's not a freaking cut. He's redoing the movie. Like he's reshot tons of scenes in the movie, so it's not even a cut. It's like a Snyder extension. Like, how is it like the cut stuff if he added stuff?
Yeah. No,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
So I did look into it. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. Joss Whedon had to step down because his sorry, Zack Snyder had to
Yeah,
step down because his daughter died, and yeah, Joss Whedon took over. And yeah, it's Steppenwolf. The guy they had to take down was Steppenwolf.
yeah, but apparently they had also Dark Side was supposed to be in it,
Mm,
but he got cut or something like that. I don't know. I think it's gonna be freaking dude. It's gonna be 4 hours long. They're saying that they're gonna make it into like episodes, like of a TV show, which honestly to me would be more bearable, like watching them like like in pieces or whatever. But no,
hmm
now they said that they're just gonna release it all in a movie form. So yeah,
4 hours,
we ha-
man.
we have a 4 hour Snyder cut. I mean, if I'm sure he is putting stuff in there that he's cut, but like, oh, and I also bought, I'm shitting on this guy so much, but I really enjoy. Well, I guess he really barely had anything to do with the Wonder Woman movies, so I liked both the Wonder Woman movies. I really liked Aquaman. Shazam was whatever, but freaking Batman versus Superman, this had the stupidest plot point. That whole Martha part.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like I want to see that. I want to see if it's actually good, and I want to see if it's a train wreck. But what really pisses me off is that he's brought back Jared Leto as Joker, and he redesigned him, and he honestly kind of looks like the new Joker.
oh, like the one with Joaquin Phoenix, that kind of.
Yes, it's like he redesigned him to look like that, and he took away his tattoos that I guess David Ayer gave him for the Suicide Squad movies.
Dude, then yeah, maybe it is worth watching. It is worth kind of forcing us to go back and watch.
I don't
Yeah,
know, it just seems so cringeworthy that now he's, like, trying to make him look more like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you just changed the character, like, I mean, I'm sure he has some kind of backstory on, he's in jail now, he looks different, he's grown his hair out, but I don't know, man. But
dude,
yeah,
like
I'm looking forward to it in a
yeah,
meme-ish kinda way, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I'm also gonna like go check it out. Because like here's the thing. So when I think it was when the Suicide Squad was like released, I think Jared Leto was kind of like I don't know if he was mad, but I did hear that like his portrayal in the movie wasn't what it once was. I don't know if it was because of the whole controversy over like domestic abuse or something. Because like in the original one, because like in like the TV shows and the comics, like Joker is like very like abusive towards Harley Quinn. Like he pushes her down, he like hits her and all that stuff. And I don't know if there was like a huge. I think there was like a huge controversy over like abuse or something, like domestic abuse or domestic
Mhm.
violence or something like that. and I don't know if they cut it out, but apparently, so like the way that like the movie Suicide Squad came out, it felt like the way they portrayed Joker, he was just like this boyfriend who was trying to get his girlfriend back one way or another. Like that's how it was kind of like shown because he was constantly doing all these things to get her back. And
Uh-huh.
apparently he was a little upset about it because like they exposed the Joker character a lot more in like where he does like hit Harley Quinn and like push her down or do some stuff with her. So maybe there is like a different thing that we'll see with this version.
What you want him? Do you want him? Honestly, they should make him as dark as possible because they. I mean, I guess it's technically in the same universe. In Birds of Prey, she's broken up with Joker, but this is supposed to take place, I guess, before Birds of Prey. So I don't think
Yeah,
that Harley Quinn's going to even be in it though. But
yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
there you go. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Snyder Cut because I heard like he's like really good with like a lot of things that he makes. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I mean, like I guess I'll watch it when it comes out. I'll get the HBO service when it comes out, and I'll just binge through whatever other shows on HBO because I think I'm still not caught up with Ballers, so I need to
You
go
can
watch
watch
Ballers.
you can watch the Tom and Jerry movie that comes out this Friday.
Okay, yeah, I'll watch it when I get HBO Max in March for this. Are
Okay,
they
well
doing
I
a
guess
live action of Tom and Jerry?
you didn't know this?
Dude, how are they? It's like a cat and a mouse. Like
No,
how?
it's the stupid lazy thing. Like everyone's live action except for Tom and Jerry.
Oh, so it's like
Garfield.
Space Jam.
Uh, you're saying it's like Space Jam, but sure, yeah, it's like saying it's like Space Jam is giving it too much credit. Yeah, by the way, I guess is that coming to HBO Go or where is that even releasing? Space Jam 2. I think
Oof,
that
I don't
is on
know.
HBO
Wait,
Go. That's Warner Brothers, right? Yeah, so that's
yeah,
probably
it
going to
is.
be on HBO Go
Yeah,
later this year. Space
yeah,
Jam with mm, the new goat LeBron James.
yeah. No, so supposedly like they had like a lot of like trouble getting like basketball players to join, and like obviously like LeBron he was able to get some pull and he got like Anthony Davis on, but like a lot of the other like top players apparently like it was very hard for them to get them to act in this movie, but I think they got like a lot of them. So
I just really hope that there's a Dennis Rodman cameo.
that'd be pretty great. Yeah, but we'll see.
He was in the first one, right? I think for like a few seconds.
I don't know. It's been so long since I watched it.
I might have to rewatch it. I might have to rewatch it just to see if he's in it. I'm sure he was in it for a second because I thought they like had like I don't know. Anyways, we're getting super off track. Speaking of Space Jam, let's talk about this episode of One Piece, which coincidentally is called in the 4 Kids dub Pearl Jam.
Ooh, so close. On the Funimation dub, it's the deadly foot technique bursts forth. Sanji versus the invincible Pearl.
Yeah, totally different title.
Yeah,
This one is, I guess they're really letting the puns fly here with this title. Um, yeah, but so yeah, I'll get into the episode here. The episode opens with Luffy asking Don Krieg if he wants to fight and confirming with Zeph if he defeats him that he won't have to work at the Barati. Like I said, I don't remember that even happening at the end of the last episode, so it's weird that it's here. It could have totally happened, and maybe I missed the last second. But anyways, that's what he's confirming. So it,
yep,
you know, picking up from where the last one left off, at least your version.
yep,
I am watching a TV rip because it's the 4 Kids dub, so maybe they had to cut to commercial at that part or something.
maybe. But yeah, that sounds about right so far. Yeah,
Yeah. So Zeph agrees, considering he won't have a ship if they have their way. Zeph says he's never met a pirate so sure of himself, and nowadays he doesn't care about his dreams, and owning the restaurant is good enough for him. Don Krieg says that or Don Krieg is then seen telling his crew how he's going to successfully take over the ship. One of the pirates mentions he can't wait to raid the kitchen. Another pirate says that if they do head back to the Grand Line afterwards, they may run into Mihawk again. And what are they going to do about that? And here's a part that I know that is totally censored. Um, so at this point, we see Don Krieg point a gun at the pirate, but in
Mhm.
the next scene, we see another pirate screaming with the same voice. So it's like a totally different person. Like
Okay.
he's like screaming, and then yeah. So my only consensus is that he was probably shot, and four kids tried to do a good job of hiding it, but it was another pirate that was standing with the same voice as the other guy who supposedly got shot.
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah. In the Funimation dub, yeah, he does get shot.
Okay, that's what I expected. They did a terrible job at censorship on this one. Um,
Yeah.
but they did show his guns. There was no orange tip or anything.
Okay.
They
Okay.
just
Okay.
didn't, he just didn't fire it. Um, and they kind of had it was kind of like the notion of he waved it at him, but somehow mysteriously the guy's hair changed colors. Um, So yeah, then Krieg says, asks anyone else if they're afraid before explaining there's nothing to be worried about, as Mihawk seems powerful, but he probably gets his power from a cursed fruit like the Straw Hat Boy. Don Krieg then mentions that Red Shoes, aka Zeph, had traveled the Grand Line for a whole year without getting caught, and that once they get his logbook, they will learn even more. The pirates agree, and Don Krieg tells them first they need to take the ship. So is that still the same from your end?
Yeah, basically, yeah. He basically says that there's a good chance that Mihawk probably has like a devil fruit, and he says we're gonna see guys like him. And he mentions about how Redfoot Zeph, uh, like went on the Grand Line, like traveled the Grand Line for like a whole year and stuff. So yeah, so far so good. Yep.
Okay. Um, yeah, then Patty and another pirate mentioned they have a secret weapon where Sanji says that they cannot let them destroy his ship, as the old geezer and himself have already been witness to total destruction. We then see like a quick flashback of Sanji as a kid, like in terror, but like don't really know what happens. Um, Sanji then says to his crew that they need to go to the control room and let down the fins so they can board the ship instead of bombing it first, uh, referring to Don Krieg's crew. Luffy then prepares a Gum Gum rocket and launches himself into the air, as well as a Gum Gum scythe to finish off a slew of opposing pirates. Sanji is then puzzled, saying, "So the Grand Line is full of weirdos like that," to Zeph, where Zeph replies that Don Krieg is going to strike back hard. Then Luffy antagonizes the pirates and calls them ungrateful jerks. And Krieg says he knows something about the cursed fruits and that they can't swim. So Luffy says that's right, and then he gets kind of like trapped on a mast or whatever, as we see the Brody's fins unleash. Yeah, so that's what's happened here so far.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's pretty much the same. I think there's too many like censored words or anything. I think that's pretty much same. Like, I think Luffy does call him like an ungrateful like jerk or something because he's like attacking people who just fed him and stuff. So yeah, so
Hmm.
far, yeah.
Okay. So then Sanji walks out and says that they're right here and to come fight. Don Krieg says he probably did it so he wouldn't turn his restaurant into. This is what he says is funny. He goes, "You probably did it so we won't turn your restaurant into a rest in peace restaurant.
Oh yeah, okay. That's kind of funny
But
though.
that's fine because I want it intact anyways." So I thought that was a really stupid pun. Um, but yeah, that's what they said, or he said. Then Patty and crew launch a fish, like they launch like a kind of like a it's a fish like sidecar type ship, like a side ship out of the front of the ship, and they fire repeatedly into Craig's ship. They strike Don Krieg, and he blocks it with his fist. Krieg is pissed and says that he's the king of all pirates, as Luffy then says no, that's his thing. Krieg then picks up his side of the ship and tosses it into the air and into the ocean, but before side ship, so the little
Yeah.
yeah, the little I guess like fish thing.
Fish submarine. Yeah.
Yeah. But before it lands, Sanji jumps into the air and kicks it down into the fins. I didn't really understand what was the point of him doing that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess like I don't know if they tried to. No, it would be like a weird thing that they would have to censor. But basically, Don Krieg picks up the ship and he chucks it, and like it's like heading towards the restaurant, and it was
Oh,
kind of like
okay. So
heading
he's
away
just
to
post.
break in.
I got it. So he's just breaking it into the onto the fin instead of breaking the restaurant itself.
Yeah, he basically
Yeah.
deflected that with his foot. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Patty and the other pirates jump out pissed as Don Krieg and the other pirates show up and start attacking the Barati pirates. Uh, one of the pirates says that they don't stand a chance since they are fighting with silverware, which I found was really funny. Um, Krieg then declares the Barati his, as Sanji says there's no way they will stop fighting for the ship. Patty and the other pirate, I don't remember if they had said his name before or if I had forgotten since it had been so long, but apparently his name is Carne.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, they talk about how it changed their life too, as Zeph had hired them when they needed help the most. He agreed to hire them as long as they shipped their enemies off with a full stomach. He then said they then went out of their way to say how much Zeph loved their cooking, but in that same flashback, we see Zeph saying it's the worst soup he's ever had. Um,
Yeah, so I don't know how the flashback was. So basically, like with Patty and I forget the other guy's name, but in the flashback, they were talking about how like they would work at different restaurants and stuff, and they would get into like scuffles at other restaurants, and they just kept getting fired. And then like this was the first
mhm.
place where they went, where they could both fight as well as like keep cooking and be like a chef and stuff. So they
Yeah,
really liked the restaurant. So yeah, that was like the only thing. But yeah.
yep. Same thing with mine. So then Sanji says to Krieg that the battle is just beginning. Zeph steps out and says they will never defeat the Bratty Cooks as they all begin engaging in a fight. Soon after, this person shows up calling himself the Invincible Pearl, aka the Iron Wall, and he comes out and his voice is like a total dude, bro, like almost like a Ninja Turtle sounding dude. And he's like, "What's up, bros?" And he strikes Patty down and Carne. Zeph then asks if they're okay, to which Pearl replies, "Of course they're not," and that he totally leveled them with his platinum Pearl surprise. So, what is Pearl's accent like in the
It's
Funimation
not
dub?
like a weird bro gym bro. It's pretty much like a cocky piratey dude like who's like so full of himself. Oh yeah, I'm like this like big shot and stuff. But he's not like a like he doesn't have quite like a gym bro deep voice, but he does have like a very kind of too high pitch but relatively kind of relative
Gotcha.
high pitch voice.
Yeah, so
So yeah.
they were really to like because this guy has like all his armor or whatever. They're really trying to like go for the like Ninja Turtle references. I feel like
Oh, okay. But yeah, he does
yeah.
speak in like a very kind of like cocky, like cocky, arrogant kind
Yep.
of voice. Yeah.
So another member of Krieg's crew then shows up and tries to grab Patty's blade out of his hand, but Sanji kicks his hand and flings the blade into the air and attacks back. Sanji then says, "Don't mess with the chef's knife," as the other pirates start to come at Sanji. Sanji then does his famous breakdance kick and knocks them all out. Pearl then asks what's up with all the fancy footwork, if he's afraid to get his hands dirty, to which Sanji replies, yes, his livelihood rests in his two hands, so he uh, prefers fighting with his 2 feet. Pearl says he's been in over exactly, he says he's been in over 61 fights and has never wiped out once because he can really pound. He then slams two symbol looking trash can lids into one another.
Yeah. So yeah, similarly, like yeah. Sanji he starts using his legs to kind of like kick everyone, and then when they kind of ask him like why he doesn't like why he fights like that, and he says, "I'm a cook. I only use my hands to cook and make food for people to eat. I won't ever use it in like a fight. Like he won't ever like ruin his hands fighting."
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah,
So then, yeah, Luffy then says he needs to work on his intimidation techniques, as Krieg says Luffy needs to work on his balance as he attempts to knock the mask that Luffy stuck on into the water. Luffy then manages to fling onto the body after first hitting Pearl in the head, and then thanks Krieg for letting him be unstuck. Krieg is pissed and calls him a brat, and Pearl is even more angry, exclaiming that it was totally uncalled for, bro. Uh, Pearl then starts ramming his symbols together and powers up with like a white flame, to which she unleashes onto the ship and catches the entire deck on fire. Pearl says no one could touch him while he's in his scorching shell. Krieg exclaims that he's burning down the ship, and he's pissed, and he says they are trying to take over. As Sanji says he won't let him burn down the restaurant. Sanji then jumps into the air, attempts to hit Pearl, but he flanks the attack with one of his shields. Pearl says to drop the tough guy act, as Sanji says how about he drops him. Pearl then says he's crossed the line and now Sanji will pay as he begins to launch his fire pearls. Zeph then flings them all away with his peg leg, and the other pirates in Zeph's crew are shocked as it appears they hadn't seen him fight before.
yeah. So it's a little different. It's very different actually, because like so when oh, shoot, what's his name, the main guy, um it's Commodore,
Patty?
not Patty, the main guy with like the all the uh protection and stuff.
Pearl.
No, not Pearl. The main villain who like
Oh, Krieg.
Krieg. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. It was just the name that kept slipping up. So when Krieg like shoots the mast off, what happens is that like the mast lands on top of Pearl's head, and like Pearl's just talked about how he's
Yes.
like invincible and he never bleeds and stuff. And so it hits him on the head, and then like there's like a nosebleed. He has like a nosebleed. You see blood coming out of his nose, not like spurting out, just like a one drip. And then everybody's like trying to calm him down, saying it's only a nosebleed. Don't lose your cool and stuff like that. And then Pearl, he just starts to get like really pissed off, and they're like, it's really, and then all of the Krieg pirates, um, they're all worried because like they say that when he gets really pissed off, he starts to go on a rampage or something, and then Pearl then like yeah he goes off in this rampage where he lights himself on fire and stuff, and like the whole thing is the whole ship, not the whole ship, but like the part of the ship that he's on starts to get on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And Krieg is like kind of mad because he's like he doesn't want Pearl to accidentally burn down the ship because they needed to go back to the Grand Line and stuff. And yeah, and then did you say Sanji steps into the fire yet, or
Yeah, he like jumps into the fire.
yeah? So basically, yeah, everybody's like kind of like trying to kind of like take care of themselves, and Sanji just jumps into the fire and stuff, and yeah, he kind of like goes in, and then this is like nice kind of foreshadowing um for Sanji, because like Four Kids is never going to reach this, but kind of later on when he and all the other members of that crew start to level up, he actually his fighting form, his fighting form actually develops like into this thing where like when he spins around his like foot, he spins around so much that his foot like is like hot not magma, but like very hot, kind of like it's like a hot foot.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of his attacks are like just like it's like burns. It's like getting burned on fire and stuff because like he spins around. He just like spins so much so fast that he does that. And then post time skip, when I mentioned about the hockey thing, like when he applies hockey on his foot, it's like a burning foot basically. And then he does that to kind of like beat his opponent, like with burning out like kicks. And yeah, and then I think like in the Wano arc, he has this fight with this one character, and like it's just like completely surrounded around fire basically, and it's because of Sanji, that it's because of the way he fights that it's like surrounded around fire. It's not like there's like a guy who's like lighting fire. It's purely Sanji. So yeah, it was like a nice little foreshadowing thing that Oda did. But Four Kids never sees it, and the show ends before it reaches that point. So yeah.
But the Zeph does fling the fire pearls away with his peg leg.
Yeah. It's his peg, like he like just wipes at it, and then like the force of the wind
Yeah.
from that wipe takes out the fire.
So it did seem like that the some of his crew did seem like they hadn't seen him fight before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then uh Krieg then says stopping a pearl is one thing, but a steel ball is something else. He launches his like mace ball thing towards Sanji, but Luffy jumps in and deflects it with Gum Gum triple barrel. I couldn't really understand what he was saying.
Well, but yeah. So far, so good. Yeah.
Yeah, and flies it into Krieg's ship, knocking mast down into Pearl's head. Um, okay, yeah, so that's what happens at this point. I guess I hadn't gotten to this point yet.
Hmm.
So Pearl then goes down, exclaiming, "That's a wipeout!" And we don't see any blood, by the way, as Krieg's pirates are in shock and that he's never lost. Sanji then says he's lost now, and Luffy says, "Yeah, he wasn't so tough." Krieg then asks if there's anyone he can count on as Jin uh, bursts out with like a double barrel gun, exclaiming he can do it. Krieg then mentions if he knocks out Red Shoes, then all of his crew will fall in line as the episode ends.
Okay, yeah. I mean, basically, like yeah, when Don Krieg, like when the mast falls again, it falls on Pearl, and then like you see like a lot of blood coming off the Pearl, and he's like wiped, and then Luffy and Sanji just talk about how weird Pearl is and what a weird guy he is, and like he's just kind of this strange guy and stuff. And then yeah, Geen, he then kind of like surprise attacks Zeph, knocks him down, and points a gun at him and stuff. And yeah, same here. That's where the episode ends.
Awesome. All right. Well, there was some definite censorship, definite hiding of murder, but I think it was mostly similar, other than no talks about nosebleeds because no one's nose ever bled. But honestly, I don't. I mean, that really didn't even need to be something they cut it out. That's not too violent, but
Yeah, to be
whatever.
honest, I just don't. I just don't get why they even bother censoring anything, honestly, because like this is like a meme among like the One Piece community about how like no one ever dies, even though they get shot left and right.
Yeah.
They don't die; they just get injured, and then like eventually they'll heal back. And like I think for the first half, in the second half, like so before the time skip, like I think the first kind of major, and we're not talking flashbacks, but like in live action, I think like the first one that actually dies was a character that will be introduced to later on, and like yeah, prior to that, like he was kind of the first death, and it was like an impactful death and stuff. But post time skip, like yeah, there's like people kind of like dying left and right almost. Um, but like yeah, during the first half, it's like they're like no one ever dies. I'm just like wondering like why don't they just show it? It's not like they're gonna die; they're just gonna be like injured. It's like the one show where if you even
Oh,
if you get
except
shot,
what's her name dies.
oh, in Attack on Titan.
No, what's her name dies that they hid in the Four Kids version.
Oh,
Said
we're
that
not
she
there
got
yet.
sick.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Wait, she's still alive?
Yeah, she's still alive.
What?
Yeah, when we get there, we'll talk about it.
So why'd you say she was dead?
Hmm? No, this is like when we get there, I'll tell you about it. The when we get there, I'll tell you about it. I don't want to say anything about it right now, but like so, what we're talking about is still within Four Kids. I'm talking about something that happens way after Four
Yeah,
Kids.
but I'm saying, are you saying that Kuina's not actually dead?
Oh no, Queen is dead.
Yeah, so she did die, but she doesn't die in the Four Kids.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about flashbacks. I'm talking about live, like
Oh,
live.
okay, I got you. 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 Okay, yeah. Now I get
Yeah,
what you're saying. Yes. Yes, you're right. No one actually really has died yet.
yeah.
Well,
I
other
mean,
than
yeah,
well, the guy did die in this episode that he shot, right?
yeah. Probably not.
Well, you don't see him.
You don't see them, but like you don't see a lot of people who get shot, but like they always end up being okay.
I don't
It's kind
think
of like
he's
a.
a I don't think he's okay.
He'll probably
But
be
then
fine.
again, who would he's just a random pirate, who cares anyways?
Yeah,
He's like a side character who like a side of a side character.
yeah. He's just
It's
basically
disposable.
filler.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. We'll be back next week. Um, episode 25 from my end. Next week, I guess this was 25 from your end this week.
yep. So it'll be episode 26 on my end for next week,
Yep.
and yeah, yeah. And actually, so part of the reason I didn't mention any kind of like One Piece manga is the One Piece manga was on break as of recording this video, so nothing to report on that. But by the time the next episode releases, there will be another chapter. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back next week.
Cool.